Greetings, Psalmist Davy here again. So, as many as are led by the Spirit of Yah, such are the sons of Yah. So, can't say how important it is to be baptized in His Spirit and be led by that Spirit. And what's the best way to be led by His Spirit? To know His Word, for His Word is the power of His Spirit. It's the living Word, which is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the division of body and spirit, and of the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart of man. That we may be able to test and prove what is that righteous and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. And as many as are led by the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, all the good things that are in this world. And if we walk in those things, there is nothing to worry about. We are led by His Spirit, and all things will come together for good. So, in that same way, every time I read His Word, definitely make sure it is the living spiritual Word. So pray for His Spirit to reveal it to you in the way that would make the most sense for you to understand it in the way that He could work through you in that capacity. That being said, when we're out after being charged up by His Word, when we go into the world, hopefully that Word will be able to flow through us to the others who need to hear that Word. For unless someone speaks that Word to them, how are they going to hear about it? They certainly, those who don't know Him, are not going to crack open a Bible and turn it open, start reading it and understand it. I remember the first time I tried to read a Bible. Forget about it. I needed a little bit of help and encouragement to keep me going. Actually, I failed the first time I tried to read it, but I was a little bit too young and too many other things that were interesting to me instead of spiritual things at that time. However, once that Word, when I did really focus and commit myself to it, finished His Word, the entire Bible, front to back, 6 months, and have probably read a different version of every Bible that's out there, but King James, still my favorite. Amplified actually is another great one. However, read it probably 20, 30 times by now, cover to cover, front to back, and still I feel like there's so much more to discern and pull out of there that every time I read it, I still get the headlights bonged at me by the power of His Spirit to show me the important things that I need to focus on and really mine out. That being said, when we are in that place, I remember ministering in a few different places. I've been fortunate enough to have ministered in every single denomination around the world that is known, including Jewish synagogues. And you would ask, how is a Spirit-filled believer able to preach in a Jewish synagogue? Well, quite easily, actually, because focus on the law, the 10 Commandments, which are still just as valid today as they were given at the day of creation to Adam, and being able to expound on those commandments, that's a powerful thing. I do believe, not many theologians will tell you this, but I do believe that when we stand in judgment before the Most High, that we will be judged by those 10 commandments. And the only ones who will not face judgment is His bride. And the only reason His bride is accepted and taken out of here to be with the Most High forever is because they walked in His commandments and there was nothing to be judged for. So, can't emphasize that enough. But even then, when we walk by the power of His Spirit, He'll show us the things. I'll make a quick story out of this one. Ministering in a place that I was just doing the last song, and then I got a word of knowledge that as soon as this song, I wasn't even done the song yet, but as soon as this song was done, I had to give an altar call and a salvation message, and there was someone there who was suffering from a debilitating intestinal issue. And so the song was over, and I called those things out in obedience, wondering how this was going to go over, because this was not even a religious experience. This was a secular event, basically, that with a little bit of gospel thrown in there in the mix to sneak it in. However, and I says, if that's someone, come and I'll pray for you. Sure enough, when I sat down afterwards, and it was well received. I was surprised. I was expecting some real nasty kickback from that one. There was a lot of worldly people there. And nope, it was well received. I sat down and this old man came up to me and he says, I have been suffering terribly with something in my intestines and everything. I've gone for tests and they said it was some kind of incurable disease. And with a little bit of questioning, I discerned that he got this shortly after he came back from a mission trip to Russia. And another word came down to me and basically told me that someone cursed him when he was there doing this, and it got him. And they told him it was incurable, there's nothing they could do, just go home and do the best you can to deal with it, and you're going to die soon because you're old anyhow. And so, absolutely not. I took authority over that thing, prayed for him, and I couldn't believe it. But 3 days later, he somehow got a hold of my phone number and left a message for me on my answering machine that said he went back to the hospital because after that prayer, something happened. And he got tested again. There was no sign of anything left in him. He was 100% perfect now and was so grateful that the Most High had compassion on him and that his servant would actually work through the leading of his Spirit to bring that into his life so he could experience grace and ease once more within his being. And that's not me, believe me. That's just being in tune with him. And I just want to encourage each and every one of you. If he can do that through me, and I mean there's so many more, but this was a medically proven with the history records and everything that this was an incurable disease and the Most High did it. So I take no credit for this. I'm just fortunate enough that I listened when I could have easily have passed that on as this is something I should not be doing in this avenue, in this event, and blown it off. But no, again, he would have obedience rather than sacrifice. And with obedience comes great rewards. So let me encourage you all. There's been so many times that I've been in the midst of a service and got this word of wisdom or a word of knowledge and be able to walk through with that. And from there, oh my gosh, I have seen absolute unbelievable power of the Spirit go in a direction where literally ministry went on for hours and hours. I've actually been in another situation when there was about 50 people in one service, small service basically, but every single person, it started off with one person got a word of prophecy, and then every single person in the whole place got a word of prophecy, and they were all so built up, edified, and ready to go forth and do mighty works in the name of Yahushua. That what a blessing that is. Not to build ourselves up, but to let the body know that they can be built up to do these mighty works that our Savior said, the works that I did, you can do the same, and you'll even do greater works. So that's what I believe. That's what I walk in, and I want every single believer out there to be able to walk in the fullness of what you're called to walk in. If there's any prayers that I can offer up to you, please let them be known. I will pray for every single one of yous. I will never ask for money, and I never want anyone to think that that's what it is about. We have been given freely, give freely. In the name of the Most High, Yahushua. Blessed be everyone.